welcome to Rotorua Clubs for our first ever joint public relations training, for our first ever joint open house, which we're doing together on the 6th of May. I'd like to acknowledge the clubs who are in the area. So we're going through all 7 of us: Taniwha Hunters, Geyserland, Pioneers, Rotorua, Lake City Breakfast, Arawa Club and Geyser Gourmet. Of those clubs, 4, if not 5, contributing to the organising of this event. So how we're going to do this, we're going to be running as a panel discussion where we know what questions we're going to be asked and hopefully we've prepared the answers. So we are having myself and Elizabeth and Margaret, who are part of our panel. Good evening, Richard. Nice to see you.
I was able to make it.
You are? Excellent.
I was able to, yes. Can't believe it.
So we're going to start the panel very shortly. So Elizabeth, just tell us quickly your role in the District 112, could you, for the record?
I'm the Public Relations Manager for the district. That means that I support all the Vice Presidents of Public Relations and the Vice Presidents of Marketing to help them market their clubs.
Thank you. And my name is Carol Bannister. This is my High Performance Leadership Project task. And it is, I can tell you, a high performance project. Things are really starting to heat up. I'm from Lake City Breakfast Toastmasters, and some of my team are with us tonight. Margaret, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
I'm Margaret McClintock. I'm a member of Geyserland Toastmasters and Rotorua Club.
And Margaret's task with this mostly is to be in contact with clubs on a regular basis and to help me sort out tangles. On to our introduction. So we're going to be covering the use of social media after we've introduced the concepts, use of social media, talking about who you know and how do we find them and get in touch with them, what we're doing on community promotion, and then planning what next, after which we'll close the meeting within an hour. She says, crossing her fingers. We're now going to move on to the first part of our introduction. And my question to Elizabeth is, why are we recording this?
We are recording this so that all the VPPRs who will be involved can watch this, even though they could not make it to this meeting, and also for you to refer back to when you need to remember something and you don't have to repeatedly ask the question. Thank you, Karen.
Great. So we have another question that was, what is the purpose of this particular Zoom workshop? But I believe you just answered that. I suppose the point of this question is, where is it going to be held? How will we make use of it afterwards? Not just us, is it? Not just for Rotorua.
Yeah, definitely. I see this project as something that will help every other area in the district, because what you're doing here is what we want all other clubs to do. Work together, get a really good public relations campaign going and promote all the clubs near you. And
this is going to be on the District 112 YouTube channel for all to see for who knows how long. Who's on the open house planning team? Anyway, we have myself and Margaret, Tim, and we have some other people. We have Megan Davies from Taniwha Hunters. She's the president. We have Jackie Bond from Rotorua Toastmasters, and my mentors for my HPL project, Wendy Booth from Pioneers and Tony Sharp from many layers of Toastmasters, but currently Geyser Gourmet and Taupo, and probably more that I don't even know. So how do you think, Elizabeth, we can all work together to promote the event? What are the keys to this?
I think the most important thing is to remember that people need to see something at least 7 times to buy into your project. So when we promote something, we do it on different levels. And I think Carol already understands this very well. We will be promoting this on Facebook. You are going to have an advertisement in the newspaper. There will be interviews. There will be banners everywhere. There will be billboards. So there are several ways, and flyers, several ways that people will take note of this event.
Okay, now my question is of Margaret. Who are our target markets and what have we decided are the key messages for each of those targets?
Well, we're focusing on businesses, professionals, service clubs, and also the wider community. Our message to them is to visit the open day, the open meeting, and see Toastmasters in action and learn how it can benefit them and their staff and their club members. For example, to build confidence, develop leadership skills, speak to inspire.
Just lost, what do you call it? Audio for a moment. Might have been because you leant back at that time. Never mind. Thank you. Now we're going to go on to the next subject, which is the use of social media. And if there were more clubs represented or more people on just right at this moment, I would have had a discussion about which clubs have an active Facebook presence. But Margaret and I have been discussing this and we understand that all of the 7 clubs in Rotorua have Facebook available. How active it is something goes up and down. Richard, you are nodding. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, they all have. Some people occasionally use paid advertising. 1 or 2 of our clubs almost use personal funds to do that. And they have a much better response by using that system of advertising.
Okay, thank you. Now, Elizabeth, my question to you, what is a Facebook advertising campaign and how can we use it for this project?
Our Facebook advertising campaign is a campaign that will run for a specific period. We will decide on the period depending on the amount of money that you have available. I'm quickly going to show you, I'm busy with boosting an event for Bell Block. Now, what most marketers will tell you is don't boost something unless you know that it's already working well. So very often you would have a post, 30 people liked it, you know it's already getting feed, so you will boost that. But in our case, we want to boost a specific event. So we will create that event on Facebook. And the best way to do this is to create the same event on every club's page. That way you get much more leverage than you would get if you only boosted on the district page. I'm going to show you what I did for Bell Block. Let me just share my screen. Can you see the screen? This is Bell Block's Facebook page. And they have an event. Let me just go to their events. They have an open house event on the 6th of April, open meeting. What we did is we created the event. Now I'm quickly going to edit it to show you what you do when you create an event. First, you name the event. You add the date and the start time. You can also add the end time if you want to. Then you give a description of the event. And this will be similar for all the clubs, except that they might put in their own name. And you give contact details. This will be a hybrid event, so they have an address and a Zoom meeting. The category is always networking. Then next, you put in the location. This is the description. It comes later than it did when you edit it. And then you can also add a banner, and we're in the process of creating a banner for you. And then you publish it. In this case, we'll just update. When you want to boost the event, you click on the event, you click on boost the event, but then you can fine-tune your target market. So in our case, we know that we want to target only Rotorua. In their case, they only wanted to target Balblock, which is a neighborhood within New Plymouth. So we added some specifics. First, the location is people living in New Zealand. Then I targeted it then, which somehow disappeared again. But anyway, I targeted it to Balblock, Taranaki, New Zealand, and then you can decide how fine you want to tune it. I tuned it to 19 kilometers because I don't want to target the whole of New Plymouth. And then I added other things that people might find interesting. I've got the location, and then I gave detailed targeting. I looked at people's interests. You can target specific peoples, you can target behaviors, or you can target other categories. In their instance, I targeted people who was looking at self-confidence. And that way you know that you are targeting specific people. Maybe you want to target people who's into public speaking, or you might want to target entrepreneurs. So there are various categories that you can target. Confirm that I edited it. You can also edit the age group of people. Say that you have a younger club, then you will target people under 40. Say you have an older club, then you will target people from 40. It all depends on what you want to do. But mostly in Toastmasters, we're allowed to have members from 18, and we all know that we have members that are 65 plus, that are very active and good potential for new Toastmasters. So at the moment, I will be able to target 49,000 people. This isn't realistic. When I save this audience, it will only target about 240 to 589 people daily. It shows here that I have a total budget of 18, but every club in your area will have $50. Mine is set to New Zealand dollars, so just double check whether yours is New Zealand dollars or US dollars, because as a district, we help you with a budget of 50 New Zealand dollars. And then you decide on how long you want this event to run. In their case, the end date will be the 6th of April because that's the day that they will have their event. So for 13 days, they will reach about 428 to 1,200 people per day. And I can now tell you that 1 or 2 people of that group will be interested in this event. You cannot just target 30 people and think 30 people will come to your event. Then you submit your ad, and within 24 hours, Facebook will let you know that your event is created, and then it will start to target your audience. Now, for you to claim it back from the district, we need a tax invoice. You cannot just show that you've done this ad. You need to find the tax invoice. Okay, back to you, Carol.
Thank you. My only question of that is that if we're all doing a targeted campaign, should we all spend $50? Should we spend less of that? What's going to be most effective as far as you know?
My district budget in the beginning of the year said, as PRM, I am going to give every club 50 New Zealand dollars before the end of June. I have to spend that. Otherwise, I cannot get money again next year to spend on the district. Or not me, but whoever is going to be PRM next year will need that budget. So Toastmasters International gave us a set amount of money. I distributed it between every club, and that meant that I had $50 to spend. If you do not use it before the end of June, we will not get money again next year. I do not foresee that you will have another campaign before the end of June. I know that you want to run 3 campaigns this year, but that will be in the new Toastmasters year. So my suggestion is that you, the 7 clubs, spend your $350 on Facebook boosting now.
Excellent. Thank you. So to apply for the funding, what do we need to do? Send you the tax invoice?
Yes, you need to send me the tax invoice because you as an area already applied for the funding of this whole project and the trio considered it. And from my side, I already know that I have the $350 to give to you to use on this campaign. The rest of the funding will be something between you and the district.
Yes, that's fine. So now, how are we going to do it? How are we going to coordinate everybody? You're going to be creating a banner. Oh, sorry, Richard, we have a question from Richard.
Yeah, this is incredibly interesting. First of all, if I may, just 2 questions or so, please. Is there a cost per kilometer away from you that get charged from Facebook? And also the number of categories, do you charge according to the number of categories that you choose?
I think the only thing that Facebook charge is the number of people that they reach.
All right, and that's my second question, or part of it, and that is that Rotorua has, give or take, 60,000 people. Does $350 cover that?
You will not reach everybody, but because you are 7 clubs and you are in different parts of Rotorua, those areas will overlap. And that will mean that you will reach more people. And that's why I said, if I, as a district, target Rotorua with 1 advertisement, and I put $350 into that advertisement, I will reach more people, but I will only reach them once.
Thank you. Good question. Thank you, Richard. What my question was is the practicalities. So now everyone's going to say, okay, where's this ad going to come from? How are we going to put it on? How's it going to work? Elizabeth's making up the banner for the ad. How are we going to take it from there? How's everybody going to get it, Elizabeth?
I will most likely guide you through it, although I already showed you the steps. We are busy. You took photos today. The moment we edited those photos, we will create a banner and we will create the words that you need to put into your ad, which we will do with the help of Carol. And then you will follow the step-by-step guide to create an event. The moment you've created the event, then you can boost it. But we will also, in that event that we create, show people other links. So one of the links will be to the website where there's a landing page where people can register for this event. When they register for this event, we will have numbers, we will have emails. And that way we can remind people that they've registered for the event. And about 2 days before the event, we will send them a reminder that they have registered and that they must remember about the event.
Thank you. Now, just as an idea, just to remind us all about why are we doing this? How are clubs going to get what benefits? Margaret, do you see the clubs who take part?
I see it as an amazing opportunity for us to build stronger clubs. If we have new members, it lifts the energy in the room, and of course we have more fun. And one of the things that we've identified that during this pandemic, there's been so many people out there knocking their confidence. And so I'd like to help them build their confidence and learn new skills. And in turn, all of us will benefit from it and learn from each other. That's how I see it.
Great. A really good reason for us to really get into it. It's not just about our clubs and us, it's about helping our community, which we do so well. All right, so we're going to get on to the next section that's about how we find people and who do we know.
Carol, can you tell us what MailChimp is and how it will work for the clubs, please?
Okay, so I've used MailChimp in my business in the past. Way before MailChimp happened, I was sending information out to a client base, and if I tried to send a photo of something I wanted them to look at, it was difficult. It just wouldn't get through. So MailChimp gives us a way in which we can contact people that we already know with newsletters, with nice photos that actually get through the email system. So it's a leading email marketing system of software. You can tailor it to be really personal and look like you've written it just this moment. You can unsubscribe very easily the people who receive it, and it's free for those who have less than 2,000 contacts. So it's ideal to use for clubs, not just in this instance, but in ongoing ways of keeping up with their own club members. When I've used it for the club that I'm part of, everybody has gone, wow, that's amazing. Haven't done it for a while, sorry, President. So you can create a list that has its own really attractive templates. You can write your own information. You can choose who gets it, and you can choose even when it's sent. So you can write it in advance and go away on holiday, like some people do, and it will go anyway. So that's MailChimp.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. So how many emails will people receive? And what happens if they don't want to be part of it anymore?
How many emails are we going to they're going to receive is 3. They're going to get a welcome email, the people who register. They're going to get a reminder a week or 2 beforehand, and they're going to get a reminder again on the day of the event.
Oh, that's awesome.
And if they don't want to get it, they'll just push the unsubscribe button, which we all know about. It's always at the bottom. MailChimp is very sensitive to unsubscribing, and it also gives you, as the owner, a list of the unsubscribes you've had as well.
Oh, that's valuable. So how do we ensure privacy is respected for these people?
Yeah, I think it's quite important to realize that we never want to put a cloud over Toastmaster. We only send emails to people that are targeted at them specific and for which they give us permission. So even if we decide if we want to gather information from businesses, when they give us permission to send them an email, then we send it to them. We invite them to this event. If they decide that they never want to receive an email about this event again, then they unsubscribe, and we will never be able to send an email to them again, out of respect. We are going to send this from the district MailChimp account. The public relations manager is the only person with access to this account. So no one else will be able to misuse a list of numbers. And we are going to put this specific group of people in a specific group. And only when we send them the email for Rotorua event, then we only use it for that. And we never send out more than the 3 emails that we decide on. You've registered. This is a reminder. It's coming up. This is happening today or tomorrow. Thank you, Carol. Tim?
Okay.
Carol, Tim wanted to ask a question.
Sorry, Tim.
Okay, so how do you get the linkage from Facebook to MailChimp? How's that done?
That's two different campaigns. We have a Facebook campaign, and we also have a MailChimp campaign. What we will do on MailChimp, we'll create a link, a hyperlink, and people can go to that event if they want to. But from both of them, from the MailChimp email or from the Facebook event, they will be taken to the website where they can register for this event.
Okay, so the registration, are you going to use those details in MailChimp?
Yes, we import them to MailChimp.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's going to do that?
I'm doing that. I'm the access to that.
Oh, yeah. So you've got access to the registration is going to be on Facebook, or is it going to be on the web page?
It's on the web page.
And is that the 112
Yes.
web page? Okay, right. Okay, got it.
On Facebook, people will be able to click on the link that will take them to the website. They are able to say, I'm interested in this event and I'm going to this event, but that's not the registration. The registration will happen on the website.
That answered your question then, Richard, has it? Excellent. Okay, so Elizabeth and I have spent some time nutting this out over time. So thank you so much, Elizabeth, for your expertise and understanding how it all works. I have patches of information, and like Tim, I don't quite know how it matches up. So thank goodness that you're here. Thank you. So lastly, we're going to collect other personal contacts outside the MailChimp and social media. And it was all about the visiting of clubs and finding out who do you know and what businesses to get their promotion going. Our next project is to move back to the clubs and have a brainstorming session over the next week with every club using some forms that Margaret's designed. Can you talk about that, Margaret, a little more?
Yes, it's a basic form. What we need is the name of the business, the contact's name, and the email address. And we feel that if we have this, it'll make the email out more effective. Because as you know, getting the message out to the can is vital to the success of this open meeting that we're planning.
Thank you. There was you were a bit cut out there. I'm not sure what's happened to your audio here and there. It came right sometimes.
Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. So that's how we're going to collect Who Do You Know. Now we're going to go on to community promotion, and Elizabeth's going to ask me a few questions that hopefully I'm going to answer in a flick of an eye.
Thank you, Carol. The first question is, what community promotions have you included in the project budget?
Okay, there's three main areas that we're looking at. One is to get a printing of a council-sponsored billboard on 6 busy intersections around Rotorua. So the idea is to make it very simple. They have guidelines, and we're going to use hopefully a very outstanding photo of our outstanding MC, Kingi Biddle. So that's one. The other thing we're going to be doing is to creating the same image and the same message on a leaflet with a bit more detail about Toastmasters. And on the flip side, we're going to have a list of all of the clubs. And Richard here is going to be the person helping organise or coordinate a walking drop of that information around selected areas over 2 to 3 weeks prior to the event. And we're also looking at newspaper advertising on the weekend paper, but we do have to pay for the ads. But at the same time, I'm trying to work up some editorial using people in the media. We're still in the process of design, and we have a graphic designer in Auckland who is a Toastmaster that Elizabeth flushed out, and he's helping us create it. So we've just taken photos today of a whole lot of people at Lake City Breakfast, delightful photos, because he's wanting head and shoulder photos of real people doing real speeches. So everyone who stood up upon their feet has a photo taken today. And also we met Kingi at the Government Gardens and took a whole stack of photos of him, and we've got about 4 really good ones of him. So now Jackie's sending them off to the graphic designer, and the idea is a montage of Kingi plus others, or for the billboards, just Kingi. We can also use free community notice board announcements on the radio. And there's a whole lot of what's on in Rotorua events that are free to list that I'm working on at the moment. So we're still looking for help with finding out those local community networks that you don't hear about and you don't necessarily pay for, Neighbourly being one, and newsletters that go around a certain area being another, and maybe somebody's part of a club that might be interested in Toastmasters. So we're wanting to keep on drawing the net wider, but drawing it in so that we can feed them into our "this is happening" loop.
Well, Carol, I'm not sure whether I should ask the question, which free advertising opportunities will you use? Because it sounds to me like you already covered that. But
Yes.
Are there other opportunities?
No, that's mostly it at the moment.
There's something that I'm also thinking about. In New Zealand, most people will go to something because someone they trusted told them that this works well. This is the doctor you choose to go to. This is the church you choose to go to. All will depend on word of mouth. So it's very important that you tell your friends, the people you know, to come to your event. But also the businesses that you support, ask them whether we may send them an email. You support them, you know them, they like you. Therefore, they would not mind receiving an email that you told them they're going to receive. Far
Exactly.
more than just a blanket email from the district.
Yes, so we need all of the clubs on board, or all the members on board, to start thinking outside their normal sphere of who you might invite. The other thing I had thought about is to get people to keep their eyes out as to what businesses like dairies and shops do have small advertising flyers in their windows. Some of them hate it, most of them hate it, but some of them still do it. So from now on, start looking around and seeing who you could ask, because as you say, it's personal contact and it's about who you know as well.
Also remember, when you go to supermarkets, they always have a board where you can put in small little handwritten advertisement, and your friends will recognize your name when you put it in there and invite them. And many people watch those notice boards.
Yes. Okay, so the more we think about it, the more we can come up with. And if we can do a complete saturation 2 weeks before in the lead up, that's my aim. Let's get it everywhere out there, at least within those 2 weeks. So wherever they turn, people are beginning to think, I've seen that somewhere. Oh, yeah, somebody told me about that, and really get the chatter going. That's my intention. Fingers crossed.
So, Carol, are there other areas where you need help to find more community contacts, or did we cover all of them?
I think we've covered that. We need to go back to the clubs and start doing a session, sitting down, having a brainstorm. What is it? Where is it? And for them to know, to feed it through to Margaret and myself once we've got some information. So we'll move on then to what next. At this point, we were going to have a discussion with all clubs present. I laugh because there's not many, on what ideas you have for your club to be part of this promotion. So maybe we can have a very short roundtable discussion. Did the Charleston screen have anything to input what you think what we can do as a club, Lake City?
Yeah, and that whole personal contact thing is so important, and I guess we should just encourage our members to have a think about people we know and other clubs that we belong to, not Toastmaster clubs. I mean, I'm in a singing group, so I could get all those girls to come along to Toastmasters and, you know, just encourage them to come and check it out. So, yeah, it's just a matter of raising awareness from a personal level. I think is probably pretty effective.
Yeah.
And we've got a new member, Isabel, and here she is. She just signed up this week and she's already saying, oh, you need another new member. I'm going to ask my friend. So, you know, she's got the right idea. Yeah.
She heard the DCP talk. Yeah. Excellent. So, Richard, tell us what clubs you're in and what you think those clubs will be able to contribute.
I'm in 2 clubs. Thank you, Carol. club with Margaret is on a Monday evening, who's looking, we've got one gentleman there who's quite familiar with Facebook, and he makes an awful amount of money via the internet and so on, but that's for his child, because the child is a high care, high needs child, and so that's what he's been doing his life. He knows the game about Facebook, and he's told me that although we can drop flyers and get 1% return, which is 2% perhaps if you're lucky, he says the way to do this is actually via social media, and this is the only way to really get a very effective system going. The other club I belong to is Pioneers, and I don't know what they were planning, even though they're one of the better clubs. For the moment, I don't know. Having said that, I've got some ideas too that I want to share with you. You were referring to businesses. Now, we have a meeting evening on a Friday evening called Business at 5. It's an after-hours meetup, which is an opportunity which I want to use in my work as neighborhood watch or neighborhood support, but possibly also as Toastmasters in the sense of promoting the event, and specifically with speechcraft involved. Bless you.
Is that a Chamber of Commerce?
Yes.
You have to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and your work is a member. Oh, that's good.
I don't know, but it will be.
Yeah.
Can't see why not. And the concept is that we've had former Toastmasters, so I can think of one specifically, David Remerswell, who used to do that, and he did it well. So we may have other members too, but that's something for us to look at. The other one is a business card system, where if you do go to such places, you can leave the business card behind. Now, I used to do this because I was district officer as an area director, or as a division director, and you'd leave that business card behind. But we should actually consider a business card for Rotorua Toastmasters, Toastmasters of Rotorua, Toastmasters in Rotorua. That's one way of doing it. We also had a card. Now, I had a card about 5 years ago, a bookmark kind of card, although slightly wider, with all the clubs in there. And it was done via geographical region, not via area or something like that, but where's the closest ones? And that we distributed and gave via the library. And the third option is speechcraft at the library. We do use library premises, and I've been looking at the new speechcraft material, and it's a bit more tricky being online. So I'm not familiar with, nobody's familiar with it really. And that's another way of doing it, where we can have a speechcraft course and then, of course, call for volunteers. It's rather sad that the volunteers aren't actually all here tonight. I don't know why. I'm just lucky to be here. I cancelled my meeting, to be honest with you, to be able to be here. So they should do, I would love to see more people here. But speechcraft is an idea. I mean, I could say to Tim, Jenny, pop in. We need some evaluators or someone to show how to evaluate. And we can share that load amongst a lot of us. So there's some ideas.
And to have something like that to promote, as well as being signing up for whichever club's convenient, but have some event to promote afterwards at the open house or
possibly. I just think about it, the two of you. Does speechcraft come into this? Should we use it? Should we use it as an after event after the open meeting? It's effective. It makes sense to do so, but just a thought. And if we do it in the daytime, we have a fantastic venue at the bank, B&Z. They've got a venue for that kind of thing, which is just brilliant. Possibly the library, if it's small, 6, 7 people only, that might happen, but that's just a thought.
That's great. That's great. Thank you, Richard. And there's an area council meeting in the middle of April where we can bring that up. Margaret, do you have any feedback from what you've been chatting with clubs as to what to add to this, or we're going to find out next week?
Yes, I've given them presidents a heads up about wanting to collate personal contacts, and that would be visiting the clubs. And as you've mentioned, we're going to start that next week. So basically, that's I think from then on, it's just a matter of keeping in touch with everyone and getting them involved in the hype and keep the momentum going so that it all works on the night.
Yeah. Thank you.
Carol, you have to summarize what we've talked about.
Okay, so what we've spoken about tonight is that there are ways in which we can get assistance for a Facebook banner, that Elizabeth is still working on it, and as soon as she's got that, the clubs will hear from Margaret and myself when that's going to happen. We are also just covering some bases about how we're going to collate information through the MailChimp and be very cautious about people not getting spammed. So we're going to be cautious about their personal privacy. We are really wanting clubs to get in on helping us think through who does everybody know, and gathering in people that we can create a contact list of businesses and individuals who do want to hear from us, not just now, but in the future. We are wanting to improve the life of people who have gone through the COVID restrictions and are feeling a bit on the downside, so that we can show them that Toastmasters is a way in which they can evolve their skills, feel better about themselves, and feel better about the world around them and the people. And it's all happening. Everything's getting underway, and by every day something new's occurring, and I'm thinking, oh, whoa, I better get on with that one and find out who's going to work with me on this. And it's just suddenly starting to pump. So thank you for everybody, your input for this.
I just want to say that this is amazing teamwork, and teamwork is what we need in this district. We need more people to help. Otherwise, people get tired when they try to do everything on their own. What you're doing in Rotorua is amazing, working together to build all the clubs. You might think, what if the people then go to another club? It does not matter. Together you are stronger. And this is an amazing team with a wonderful PR focus. I just want to commend you on that. But other than that, Carol, who should people contact if they have any questions?
Okay, in the first instance, myself or Margaret, whoever they know better and want to talk to us. And I might just say, Elizabeth, that there's always this feeling in Rotorua as you visit different clubs, if you've been around for a while, there's a feeling of togetherness, and that comes from being in the different area contests and helping each other out. And we're actually good friends amongst the clubs, even though we're not in the same one. Hello, Peter's online. Peter, we're just about wrapping up. In fact, we're pretty close to wrapping up, but you can follow later. Peter is the guru that Richard was talking about.
I only just got back home, sorry.
That's all right. It will be recorded, or it is being recorded, so you can join in on that shortly. So Margaret, just go over how we're going to follow up on tonight's session.
So follow up from tonight. Well, I think start with our visits next week. Just get on to it while it's hot, and then and work from there. I think we'll need to just keep everybody in the loop and try and bring in people to help us out. And then as the group expands, and I think that'll work better.
The group being the group of people who are our contacts. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and the club members. It's to keep people involved and up to date, and then it'll all work together. Yeah.
So we hope as well to keep in touch with clubs on a weekly basis with an email to let people know where we're up to. You never know, I might reinvent MailChimp newsletters for you. So I'd like to thank everybody who's been involved. Margaret, your help that you've been supporting as we've thought through the next phase. Elizabeth, for your expertise in the background whenever there's an issue. Thank you so much. And Tim and Jenny for your help on the team. Tim's doing programming for the night. So now, I believe between us all and the clubs in Rotorua, all over, but in Rotorua, because that's where we're focused, we provide a unique opportunity for personal growth in Toastmasters. And together we're going to show Rotorua how to shake off that negativity of COVID that the world's created and have more fun by joining Toastmasters and making more friends and being part of a team. So thank you, and good evening from everyone. Thank you.
I think you summarised it very well there. That we want people to know that Toastmasters is fun, and you can make friends. I wonder whether that's not put out there so much. Maybe we need to make sure that comes across, because I think it's very powerful.
We can have
And
it
I'm
in
just
the
thinking-
dialogue with the Facebook banner, I think.
What we maybe can do also is if you can record on your own Zoom 1 minute, just 1 minute, of the reason why you think people should join Toastmaster or the reason why you joined Toastmaster, then I can use that very well. Under a minute, because then I can use it on Instagram too. If it's more than a minute, then it's more complicated for me. So record that and send it to me. And
Are
then
you saying on Zoom?
record it on Zoom because
How? Peter, help.
you have a whole town of experts. Find the experts, use what they have to your benefit, because we need teams in this district. And when you find the experts, send their email addresses to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Peter's the
I
expert.
use them too. Peter, I'm very grateful that you are here and that you are an expert on Facebook campaigns. We will definitely make use of that expertise the moment we are ready to launch this, which will hopefully be within the next month.
Okay.
Great. Thank you. Well, look at that. Done in an hour or less. Thank you everyone for coming on this evening, and let's hope many people view this recorded version. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Well done, Carol.
Very good.
Well done, Carol.
I hope that someone evaluated her. This is a panel discussion, level 5, for her second pathway, which I hope she already got.
I've got 3.